Collabovirus is a charity album created during the 2020 lockdown, the first one. It's available now on Bandcamp and features all of these musicians. All of the money made from album sales goes directly to the Olympias Music Foundation. And now it's over to Jay Plent with this month's Listen to This. I love you, Jay!
Hello, this is Jay Plent for StabbedPanda.com, and you should listen to this. Welcome to the last Listen to This of 2020, a year best characterised by it being completely normal and oh my god, who am I kidding, it's been fucking awful, hasn't it? But who better to round out the season and start fresh than the wonderful Oystercatcher, made up of Caitlin Lang-McAvoy and Tom Chapman. They're a Manchester duo who, like many of the region's best acts, first met at the Royal Northern College of Music. Both veteran players in the local scene, Oystercatcher's approach is best characterised by its intensity. The emotions and instrumentals at play are very powerful. Tom plays bass for the most part. Caitlin sings, plays saxophone and guitar amongst other things. The sound they craft is akin to artists like Alt J and Bjork, with the drums, where they're called upon, taking on a frantic nature a bit like the work of Matt Tong. Technicality is at the forefront of Oystercatcher's sound, with odd time signatures and writing rife with melody and charm. As you can probably tell, there's a huge number of elements being juggled in this band, and yet these two always keep things sounding clear and not sounding scatterbrained. Having spent 2019 touring South Africa, the band have continued their momentum with several great releases this year, including live sessions and a Foo Fighters cover that puts the original to shame. They've also featured on the Relay compilation for the Music Venue Trust, and bassist Tom popped up on a recent Scatterchild track.
Shameless self-promotion.
Now back in the studio and back behind the wheel, Oystercatcher's new track, It Never Rains, has dropped from above. Brace yourself, it's a big one. In It Never Rains, we see Oystercatcher at their most grandiose. From tension at the beginning to a bombastic ending, the track really roars, the guitars snarling as the drums go properly mental. Atop this chaos is Caitlin's voice, which dives and unpicks the consequences of grief with beautiful metaphors and honest-to-goodness writing. It's actually not dissimilar in tone to an Evanescence track, albeit with a lot more maturity going for it. This track really shows that Oystercatcher can write music with high stakes without things getting too hyperbolic and over the top. But it comes in stark contrast to their other material, such as the heartbreaking Come Home. A personal and palpably sad piece, it's incredibly minimal and restrained, with bass work that puts me in mind of some early XX material. It's just the two of them here, and it has as profound an impact as any track with way more bells and whistles. In short, they do both heavy and soft music equally convincingly. By nature of being a two-piece with other great musicians around them, Oystercatcher often morph and change their lineup in a very fluid and exciting way. There's no better example of this than the stunning performance they recorded at the International Anthony Burgess Centre. This song, Dear Katie, was one of their earliest releases, and it takes on an all-encompassing beauty in this live form. Caitlin's vocals soaring, the strings scintillating, the bass unshakable. An incredibly filmic track, the song unpicks the emotional exhaustion of a difficult conversation. The strange percussive breakdown, backed by electronic drums on the studio version, gives off a Radiohead Idiotech kind of vibe. It's a weird, yet intriguing song, held together by the incredible performances. If it isn't clear to you by now, Oystercatcher are an act with a keen sense of occasion. Their music is dramatic and the visuals they accompany it with are just as stunning. You need only look at their gorgeous live session of Come Home atop the Orm, or most recently, and perhaps most impressively, their recent choral rendition of track Glue, featuring a 34-piece choir.
I'm not sure I even know 34 people.
That's out now, and it's worth watching for the sheer logistical achievement alone. And that's what keeps me coming back to Oystercatcher. Their music is challenging and evocative, but their ambition and ideas seem to be limitless. You never quite know what you're going to get, and ultimately, that's what we want from our music, to be kept guessing. So check out Oystercatcher's music and see if you can predict what they do next. One thing's for sure, it's going to be big. Thank you for listening. You can find more of these features on our YouTube channel and visit stabbedpanda.com to submit your own music to this show or to the blog.
All you can throw aside when you're bored. Under my stitches I'm full of love and full of